Hey everyone, hi everybody. I hope everyone is doing fantastic. I hope everyone is doing great and fantabulous. Oh my goodness. I come on this way because life comes with challenges. And I don't want to be one of them who aid and abet, as they would say, or add to it. I want while you're going through your challenge that there is this ray of hope. Like you feel this assurance that you're going to overcome. I want to, as best as I'm able to, instill that faith, that hope, that belief, and that trust in God and His Word, that with Him, absolutely nothing is or ever impossible for Him to do. No matter how bad your situation is, no matter how much in a deficit it is, that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than you can ever ask or even imagine. So I want, when I come on, I greet you with peace, I greet you with joy, I greet you with excitement, because I want to give you that hope to continue again and again and again, and to never give up. And can I tell you that when I'm encouraging you, I'm encouraging me, because there are those days that I want to give up when the challenges come. As Les Brown says, do not say that you're having a bad day. Say that you are having a character building day. Don't say that you're having a bad day. Say that you're having a character building day. The days them hot like fire, people. The days them hot like fire. I feel like me just stretch my hands so and pick off the sun and carry it down. I feel like I just go like this and just drag it down. Me burning. I am burning. I feel like Capleton. Oh my goodness gracious. So I want to talk about, boy men, I want you to hear me and hear me well. I'm not a woman who bashes men. I don't believe in that. I'm not bashing, because I try to split fairness with justice. Malcolm Gladwell has a book entitled Goliath, David versus Goliath, or David and Goliath, sorry. David, a very good book to read. It's really a book about fairness, justice, and all of that. It's a good book. I would encourage anybody to read Malcolm Gladwell's books. He has some others that I want to read, Tipping Point, and some other books. But I'm thinking about the fact that a lot of men have been very wayward in relationships. They have been wayward in being a good father to their children. They have been wayward. I know at times women may have prevented some of the fathers from coming into the child's or the children's, with the apostrophe at the end, lives. Not apostrophe before the S, after the S, or the children's. It's some English thing to it when you say children's lives, for example. And I get into that right now. I never remember it right now, but I forgot to get back my whole English book. Yes, I'm not one of the best English speakers, and I try my best. I did well in English, but men are the best of the best. There are some people who are just pristine. They're just on point. They don't miss a beat. You know who used to be like that for those persons who went to Holy Childhood High School? Sister Mary Stephanie, the late, great, and venerable Sister Mary Stephanie. Oh my goodness, what a lady. Could I speak properly? Her English was on point. It's almost like she didn't miss. She was the Usain Bolt to English. Oh my God. And her tonality was great as well. She spoke with elegance. It was refined. I wish I had such a refined voice. Not like hers, but sometimes when you hear people speaking standard English, it sounds unrefined. It just sounds like it wants a little sandpaper on it to make it sound smooth and beautiful. Whether very masculine and feminine, but has the right tone, undertone, and a top tone with it. When I talk about music, man, or when I go on all English, but not to stray too much. It has been very difficult for many of us who have suffered from lack of fatherhood, lack of having a father in our lives. Many women have suffered from having a lack of spousal support in their lives, meaning they're officially married by law, but the husband is as far away from the wife emotionally as the east is far from the west. So you know it's like a gulf in between. And one of the reasons I realized over the years is that men fail to take responsibility for their actions. Men has failed to take responsibility for their actions. And I'm thinking about even from the day of Adam and Eve, when Eve got tricked by the serpent, the Bible said that she picked the fruit and gave to her husband, which means he may have been in the surrounding area, he may have been watching from afar off, to see what was going on and all of that. And instead of taking the blame and said, I should have been the man, I should have stopped her when I'm seeing the serpent tricking her, I watched it and I participated. I really was an active participant, with a distant active participant, but I really was an active participant. I should have stopped my spouse from being fooled. I should have known better and said, no honey, no, this is not right. God says do not touch that, so we're not going to touch that. And whether the tree could have been eaten from or not, from day one God tests obedience. That's very important to God, obedience. The Bible says obedience is better than sacrifice. So sometimes we don't obey, but we feel like we can, all right, we never do the right thing. I lied on somebody the other day, I stole, I committed some, wicked act. And let me see if I can sow $1 million in the kingdom. It doesn't work like that. You can't bribe God. He says obey, whatever he says. So sometimes we harp on the fact that they eat from, it's a matter of disobedience. When I look at the Old Testament, when I saw some of the things that God did, you said, why God did them have to go through? It's almost like a maze. Do not eat this bread with the yeast and that, and put this here, and But I realized he was testing obedience on human beings because of how we are. It's almost like you have to press us for us to conform. You have to press us and press us and press us. Yes, we're defiant body. We're a defiant people. This coronavirus pandemic has shown that up to the fore. It's like a sore. It's like a leprosy, like you're looking at a leper. You follow? We are highly disobedient. And from the day of Adam and Eve to present day, men have failed to take responsibility, even for their actions. I heard Les Brown says, that a number of men, when they're wayward fathers, they said they don't have it, they do not have the funds, they don't have the money. And he said, suppose the mothers were to say that. Suppose the mothers who, it's so strange, they're really nurturers and persons, they weren't hunters, they weren't the ones who were going out to work. They would have been the stay-at-home parent, and the men go out and work. So really, their earning power would not have been great. And can you imagine if they had said, we don't have the money, throw their hands up and say, we don't have the money, and walked off? The children would starve to death. They would starve to death. They would die. Because who would look after them? You think the birds and the bees? They would starve to death. And because of that lack of taking responsibilities, many children have grown up suffering from what we call low self-esteem. Because they never had the father. Remember now how God made men. They made them as, you like to say, security guards, bodyguards, sort of a thing. When it says head of the home, it doesn't mean that they control and go and sit down there, wife, go and sit down there. No, it's not like that. It's about, honey, we're going to make this thing work. We're going to build our family. So he would be the guide, the leader, and she gives her 2 cents or 3 cents or 4 cents. And then they come together like the Proverbs 31 woman. They come together and they work it. It's like a symbiotic play. We work together, and we're going to make this thing work. But no, what ends up happening is that the men, they go their own way. They don't take the responsibility for whatever it is that they do. They're not there emotionally. That is part and parcel why God says to men, love your wives as Christ loves the church and gave himself up for her. Men seem to struggle with dealing with the emotional side. Whatever battles go on, they internalize it and they keep it in. They don't express it. And then when the going gets tough, because maybe they're not emotionally strong, they go and they abandon the entire family and they look for the next quick fix. So sometimes they move from one relationship to the other thinking that they would have got the better thing, and in 90% of the cases it's the worst mistake that they have ever made. They can't go back. They can't turn back the clock, because men fail to take responsibility for every era, for everything. They fail to live up to being a father. Even if you and the woman didn't work out, you fail to live up to that because you don't want to take responsibility. It's like this narcissistic mindset is upon you. You're just going to look after yourself. You're just going to deal with yourself. Whatever satisfies you as a man, you go along with that. And maybe sometimes that is why some of the males in this present day, their lifespan is so short. I mean, how can you really get blessing on that? The Bible says a man who does not take care of his family, his children and all of that is worse than an unbeliever, is worse than the person out there who cheats. A man, is worse than somebody who basically commits adultery. Because the devastation you cause when you abandon your family, mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, you are made the heads of the homes. And I encourage you men, take responsibilities when you do wrong. Admit them. Take responsibilities for your actions. If you're suffering from low self-esteem, that can be worked on. Seek counseling. Do the 12-step program, or whatever the number of steps are. It's 100 steps, and I'm saying that for hyperbole. So people, I know it's a 12-step program. I'm just saying that for hyperbole. To exaggerate, to say, look here. Get help, seek the help. Gone are the days when they say, boy, men are afraid to this, and no more fear. No more with that fear thing. You've been exposed, you've been educated, not necessarily formally in school, on a lot of things. There is a world wide web. You can go on, seek help. Seek help if you suffer from that. But you're going to take responsibilities for your action. I want to see when Father's Day come, we see far more fathers being honored, and it is warranted. Many more men being honored, and it is warranted. Don't be a wayward husband. Do not be a wayward father. Do not abuse your children. Do not abuse your spouses. Don't abuse your wives. I'm talking husbands. Treat women good. Treat them the way you want to be treated. Treat your children good and be in the lives of your children. Stop abandoning your children. Be a father. Step up to the plate. Provide for them. When you're wrong, admit it, apologize, and try to do better. You're not above that. You're not above, humbling yourself to saying I'm sorry and doing better. Try to be a better husband. Men are not hitting at you, but you have a problem in this country. Too many single parent homes. And stop going around and having children with every Jill and Jane. Every single Jill and Jane. You have 15. That's horrific. That's horrible. That's awful, men. It's not masculine. It's not something admirable. It's not something admirable. You leave a lot of devastation in the lives of the children and the women because you cannot afford to take care of them. Not even the wealthy have so many kids. Back in the day, yes, God provided for them, and the earth had to be populated. But some of you, know that you can't afford it. Why would you be like that? Even if the woman asks. You have to make good sense prevail. You can't be having 15, 20, and how many children out there with how many 20 different women? Come on, men. You have to do better than that. Pull up your socks. Get your healing and do better. Take responsibility. We all have to take responsibility for our actions, even if you come from bad parenting or from a bad home. Even if you experienced bad parenting, you can do better. You can be the change. You can be the change. I didn't have my father growing up, and I have to learn how to be a socially fit individual. I ask God every day to make me better and to be whole, because I want to be a contributory factor in this country. I must be able to contribute wholeheartedly and completely. So men, take responsibility for your actions. Take responsibility for your words. Take responsibility for your families, and do better, please. I ask this of you. I'm not bashing you. Alright, so have a good one. Stay blessed. Stay sweet.